Drew Smith just came out of the bullpen to start the 7th inning. He was stopped and inspected for stickiness. All 4 umpires looked at his hand, and Bill Miller, the crew chief, has just ejected Drew Smith from the game for having too much stickiness. Second time it's happened to the Mets this year. Happened to Max Scherzer earlier this season, and now it has befallen Drew Smith before he can throw a pitch in this game.
Well, Buck's got to get Drew off the field. He's been thrown out already. He's got a 10-day suspension.
Oh, then.
And so random to me. Like who decides what stickiness is? All 4 umpires seem to agree, and now the Mets will have to get a pitcher who will have to warm up and be ready for the game.
Well, considering they've already used 3 relievers, Smith the 4th. That means they have to go much deeper into their bullpen to try and get through the last 3 innings of this game, much less try and win the game. Well, we saw the issue with Scherzer insisting that he was using only rosin. We saw it while they were examining Drew. He said, I got some sweat from behind my ear. You could see him indicate in that manner, and he's just incredulous.
You know, he's going up to everybody. Feel my hand. It's not sticky. It's just so random. I don't get it.
So John Curtis, who was just called up this weekend after a stint in the minor leagues, will come to the mound, and he'll get as long as he needs to warm up. He'll be starting cold.
And this is the bullpen. They can ill afford to lose Drew Smith for 10 days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's the issue tonight, and
it's
then there's
games,
the issue
not,
going forward.
It's games, not days, right, Gary?
It is games, yes, 10 games. That's what Scherzer had to miss.
Who checked him first, Roberto Ortiz or Bill Miller?
Not 100% certain. Miller was the guy who eventually threw him out. He's the crew chief. He's on the right there. They called the home plate umpire Rob Drake out to examine him, and eventually all 4 umpires checked his hand. So this is while we were in break. Over comes Rob Drake, checks the hand. Over comes the third base umpire Chad Whitson, checks the hand. It says, puts his hand behind his ear. He said that I just got some sweat from behind my ear. Over comes Ortiz, the second base umpire, to check his hand. So all 4 umpires looked at his hand. Buck Showalter came out to join the conversation, and that's when Bill Miller threw the heave-ho.
And the reason he's saying that getting the sweat with whatever you choose to use will augment that stickiness. But still, Drew pleading his case, having his teammates shake his hand, and a little bit of an embarrassing situation here for Drew and the Mets.
Well, it certainly has to feel to the Mets as though they're being targeted, right? I mean, Scherzer was ejected. I think one other pitcher in baseball maybe has been ejected this year.
Herman, right?
For the Yankees. I don't think anybody else has.
And they've asked Herman one time when he came into a game, now he's a starting pitcher, to wash his hands a couple of times. So, and
they had asked that of Scherzer too before he got ejected in an earlier inning, but Drew never got that opportunity. He was coming out of the bullpen, and this is something that has started this year as well, that they're not just examining pitchers when they come out of the game, they're examining as they come into the game.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think everyone gets the analytics? Do you think the umpires get a report on a jump or spike in the spin rate of a pitcher's pitches in a previous appearance, and they're on the lookout for it to his next appearance?
I don't know. That could be. I mean, that certainly is the telltale sign, and you know, that's something that the Mets dealt with in the postseason last year when they suspected Joe Musgrove. They were going off increases in spin rate within that game, which is why Buck Showalter made a case of that during that game.
Yeah.
But you know, the landscape is changing clearly, and it started with Scherzer, and it was almost as though they were making an example of Max. But now here the Mets are hit again, and again it has an impact tonight in that the Mets have to go deeper into their bullpen, but also they'll have to play 10 days short without one of their prime relievers.
Well, my only issue with it again is just the randomness of it. I believe 100% that they were targeting Max and took him out of that game in Los Angeles. Maybe what we should do is try to take the randomness out of it, an umpire feeling a man's hand. And if your spin rate within a game jumps, then that's an indication you're using something different. So your ordinary range of where your breaking ball should be, or your fastball, it's got to be in this certain range. If it's spiking, that's when you get taken out of a game.
Well, let me ask you this from a pitcher's perspective. If your spin rate spikes, is it necessarily because you're cheating?
No, but I'm saying within a range. Once you get over a certain range, that has to be something different than just your normal physical attributes, strengths.
Well,
I don't know.
Right now, we're going by umpire's judgment, and all 4 umpires weighed in, and the decision was made, and Drew Smith is out of the game without throwing a pitch.